Come on, Soda Pop, let's go.
Good evening. Oops. Teresa Staley. This is going to be my last public input as a citizen. I am soon to become some of your advocates on the council, those of you who are leaving. And I want to talk about three things here: scrutiny, due process, and priorities. Scrutiny. The scrutinizing expenditures, scrutinizing the public's right to be involved. I was at the 4 o'clock informational today, and I heard a lot of scrutiny about the second reading for number 50, the ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls amending the Code of Ordinances of the city by amending Chapter 98, the human relations issue. And it was fabulous because I heard you talking about how this hadn't been given enough time for the public to be vetted, to understand what's going on with the ramifications of this issue. Love it. That, as a council member, I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of that kind of discussion. So you said it's happening so fast, let's put it off. Let's have the first and second readings happening after we take office. Bravo. That brings me up to the next part, the issue of due process. Now, as a citizen, I've been watching how this works. An item like these water and sewer rates appears on the agenda that day. Council finds out about it on Friday. It appears on the agenda. They hear about it on a Tuesday, the following Tuesday. First reading is that night. And then now 2 weeks later, now you're voting on the second reading to make it into an ordinance. That does not give the public enough time to be informed and involved. They just don't get it. I've tried to alert the media, and I will continue to do that as a council member because I think that's what we're supposed to be doing to keep people involved. But I think we need to take a look at the timing on this so that there needs to be more space so people can look at things. But I also want scrutiny here. And nothing against the Public Works Department, but we've got them asking for a rate increase. I used the analogy of the PUC out in Pierre a few weeks ago, that when Gary Hansen and Chris Nelson are asked to raise rates, they give plenty of time for the public to weigh in, and they rarely give the amount that's asked for. So it comes down to the other option that we talked about a few weeks ago. A few of us brought up the option of, let's look at the second penny to support some of this infrastructure. And oh my gosh, it was like we were asking the city to cave in on itself, that we would be siphoning a little bit of the second penny to support the sewer system upkeep. And so after we had that discussion, some people started saying, well, wait a minute, if there isn't enough second penny left to help with the sewer system, then how are we going to support that new administration building? It's about priorities. And I think the public wants some straight answers about what we're doing with our money here. So we've got some decisions in the future. I was hoping that this whole thing could be put off so we could discuss it with the new council, look at options. We certainly want this stuff to be funded, but I think we need to be looking at it from, an open mind and considering all options.
Thank you. Welcome.
Andrew Delco, I'm here representing Lloyd Companies. Lloyd Companies manages over 4,000 multifamily units and has played an integral role in the construction and development of many other clean, desirable, and affordable units. We are concerned with the negative impact the proposed utility rate increase will have on the average end user. Realize there is a need for clean, desirable, and affordable housing in Sioux Falls and the surrounding regions, and we strive to provide that to our residents. We also understand the need for annual increases in prices to keep up with the rising costs of doing business. However, we aim to keep our residents in mind before making any price adjustments. One thing you may not understand is that with the rental business, not only is the resident responsible for the rent of the unit, but also the utilities are passed back down to them. These costs have increased dramatically over the past couple of years, despite our efforts to curb them by installing more efficient shower heads, efficient toilets, light fixtures and bulbs to improve energy efficiency. The residents are the ones being affected by these increases, and they're the ones we are asking you to keep in mind. If you take, for an example, an entry-level production, retail, or restaurant employee making only about $12 an hour here in Sioux Falls, they're going to be trying to support their family, save for a home, pay down debt, many of those things. They're going to make only $480 per week, $2,000 a month, about $25,000 a year. Based on the living wage calculator for Sioux Falls, they're already below the required annual income needed just to meet the basic living expenses in Sioux Falls. The proposed increases will have a substantial impact on these residents and their families. Even if they receive a cost of living raise of 3%, which would be $749 in 2017, the proposed utility rate increases of $120.55 throughout the year are going to eat up 16.1% of that raise. If they have light and power service with somebody outside of Sioux Falls Utilities, some of the other local utilities providers have requested higher rate increases than what we're requesting here. By itself, $120.55 annual increase to utilities may not seem like much, but if we encompass all the rate increases the average user is facing in 2017, the effect could be devastating to their families, forcing them on to more of the needed assistance like LEAP or other assistance programs if they're even available. To provide these people the opportunity to succeed in Sioux Falls, we need to provide the clean, desirable, and affordable housing, and consider these proposed rate increases and the effect it is going to have on these people. Thank you.
Andrew, thank you as well. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Rodney Fitz, and I live here in Sioux Falls. And I feel, can they put this up, or is that possible? But I'm representing really 600 different families. This up? Okay, is that better? Yeah, I'm representing 600 different families. We own and manage over 600 units here in Sioux Falls, or apartment homes. And this rate increase really has quite a little bit of effect. I agree with just what was said. But just to give you an idea, if I remember right, in 2007, when we started on this path of rate increases, wasn't there something about once the Lewis and Clark pipeline was completed here, these rates were going to start going back down? It seems like there was something that was sold on that rate. But let me just show you what's typical that's happening. If you can look up on your sheet there, this is just one 24-unit apartment complex. I wanted to go back to 2007, but I didn't have the data. I just had 2009 that I could give you solid data on this particular apartment complex. But I compared this rate increase to what's going on with gas and water, just at one unit. If you look at the top number there, the gas in that 6-year time frame increased from 2009 per year to 2015 per year by $1,100. That's a total difference of $45 or $46 per family, about $3.83 per month, or over the total time period, 127% increase, or about 4.5% a year. Now look at that at water. Water increased in that same time frame $6,671. That's $277 or $278 per family a year, or $23 per month in that same time frame. Because it's just been stepping up and up. That's a 262% increase, or about 27% a year. And so you start wondering, why is this necessary? Because these are just, astronomical increases. When I started this business in 1998, water was really not the biggest cost. It was almost not even noticeable. It was gas, or natural gas. That was what the big expense was. Now we wish that the water expense was back down to the natural gas cost. And so it's just really having a huge effect. And I was just with a lady yesterday that's 80 years old, and she says, how can I keep paying these increased costs as we go up? I'm having a tougher and tougher time. All of these numbers keep adding up to these people, and that gets to be real numbers for a lot of people. Just like he mentioned, people making $12 an hour, but you have all of these people on fixed income, that I think there ought to be another way to start looking at how we address some of these costs, and so we're not passing them along, because we have no choice. We have to pass those right back to the residents. So there's another 600 families that are affected, 4,000 that Lloyd just affected. And these are just, family after family, that these costs just continue to rise for them, and it's just starting to get a little bit out of line, and we wonder why it has to go up so much.
Thanks, Rodney.
Okay,
Appreciate
thank
it. Welcome.
Bruce Danielson. I just feel like these last couple weeks have been a period of just ram it. Got to ram everything through, and it's like you guys must not have been doing anything for the last couple of years, because all of a sudden these last few days and last few weeks, since especially the rental car tax failure of the executive session that was illegal to discuss how to fund the Foundation Park, or whatever they're calling the new industrial park, we're now getting these rate increases rammed on to everybody else. So is that just poor planning up to now? So just ram it. We got in the last meeting, at the informational, it was discussed about, oh gosh, we're going to have lead in the water, or we're going to have all these problems. Well, thank God we don't have Governor Snyder of Michigan as our governor, forcing us to take the water directly out of the sewer and putting it into our system. Mark Cotter and the people have done a good job up to this point trying to make the thing work. But all of a sudden, because we have to pay for Foundation Park, we're going to ram it on the people, since we couldn't do it on the rental car industry. So now, just now, a few minutes ago, the county is offering to speak at an informational. So we're going to be making decisions tonight, and we can get more information in a week or two at an informational, so we know what actually is going to happen. What's the big hurry in this? There is no big hurry. We can do this in June, we can do it in July, and we can still accomplish what needs to be accomplished, but we'll have information. We have a new council coming in that's eager to get to work on it. You guys, just like us, had this thing thrown at us on a Friday afternoon to try and figure out what was going on then on that Tuesday for the informational, for the first reading. This is all new to us. We tried to get enough people here. There's a lot of people that wish they could be here, but they can't because, of course, you got to ram it right through. So again, why is it such a panic? Is it poor planning, poor policy? Or maybe you can figure out a way to just backdate the final vote, just like so many other things get backdated around here. Thank you.
Folks, anybody, welcome, sir. Good to have you here.
Robin Jansen, and I disagree with Mr. Cotter. You said that you operate with a reserve. Well, how much of a reserve is there?
Mr. Johansson, sir, just speak to the council, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Welcome.
Mr. Cotter stated that they operate in a reserve.
Yes, sir.
Now, just looking at these graphs, myself, I went from $16 an hour down to $10 an hour. To me, that's taking food out of my mouth. Everybody talks about how we need to give all these poor people food and school and stuff like that. But every time we turn around, you're taking more money out of our mouth. And now you got the governor. He's going to take another half cent away from us. Now, there's other, besides the dams, there's wind energy. It's probably more cost effective. I mean, it's time to use some common sense and watch how we spend the money, because you're affecting the poor people tremendously. I would ask, how many people have been down to work the food banquet? Just by a show of hands. How many people have been down and worked the food banquet? And you see what is going on down there. Now, you're making it worse and worse and worse for hardworking people to try to stay above their, and it's not working. This is the most taxed country in the world, and it's time it has to stop, from city level all the way to the major government. Thank you for your time.
You bet, Mr. Johansson. Thank you as well. Welcome.
I'm David Zokaitis, and nobody likes to raise rates. Oh my gosh, no. I've been here to, a handful of meetings, and anytime there's a rate increase, there's a parade of people going out the door that says, no, 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 no. Well, stuff breaks and you got to fix it. I mean, we need to protect our water supply and we need to protect our infrastructure. And for some reason, I don't know, it just seems to be underfunded and undersupported. Well, I lived in the Twin Cities and a bridge collapsed over the river due to bad politics. A bridge inspector said it's not safe. He was overruled by a politician who was unable to raise rates and raise taxes. And people died and the bridge was closed. And nobody likes to raise rates, but we need good water and sewers that actually work. So I figured I'd put in a little plug for the city and
Thank you,
make sure
David.
things keep working.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
Tim Stangus, Sioux Falls. Mr. Cotter, I know you're in a spot where you don't want to be because that second penny sales tax is supposed to be for roads and infrastructure. What we have done is we have taken the second penny sales tax and we have sliced it so thin that we have to go back on the citizens of Sioux Falls to pay for the how do you want to say it, incompetence of the city council and the mayor's office for taking from the second penny sales tax. I go and talk to my elderly neighbors, and just like Rod came up and said, these people they're on fixed incomes, they're on Social Security. They haven't had a raise for 2 years. You guys think 30 cents is nothing. Oh, shit, let's just raise 30 cents.
Tim,
Excuse my language.
Tim, you do that again, you're done. You don't swear in this group.
Yes, sir, no problem. But anyway, you guys think 30 cents is nothing. Still, there's 100 pennies in a dollar. These people can't make it past the 20th of the month. What we do is we steal to get what we think we need, and the people have to suffer. When is the last time we've ever had an audit on the water department, the sewer department, the electrical department, even anything with the city? When's the last time there was an audit? When you see two people in a city truck, and they're driving up to turn somebody's water off, does it take two people to turn water off, or does it take one? To me, that's mismanagement of funds. And that's what I watch every day. If you have to put a sign up, there's two people in a truck. In the public sector, there'd only be one. Where is the management of the funds? All you're doing is destroying the elderly people. You're destroying the life that they want to live on the backs of what we think we need.
Y'all come back now. Cheers.
What kind of morons run this outfit?